Hello again team, it's Jess or JashiiCorrin and welcome back for another video. Today I'm making a list of self-care ideas in my long-term collections journal. So essentially what this spread is going to be is a go-to reference for when I'm feeling not quite right, when something is wrong. I wanted to make this page as helpful as possible, so I've split it into different sections for different types of discontentment. It took me quite a while to determine how I wanted to set this page up. I was kind of toying around with the idea of having different sections for different types of self-care. So like physical self-care, spiritual self-care, emotional self-care, etc. But instead, as I mentioned, I decided to make these sections different types of discontent. So the ones I went with were when my to-do list is overwhelming, when my work life has got me burnt out, when my physical space is stressing me out, when I'm feeling unaccomplished, when I'm emotionally overwhelmed, when I've had a bad day, when I'm feeling lonely, when I'm physically unwell, when I'm feeling a bit down, or something else. Really, I just felt that by grouping my self-care activities into these buckets, it means that when I'm not feeling my best, I can start by identifying what's wrong and then go to the relevant section. Within each of those sections, I'm then going to list out the things that I think I could do to make myself feel better. The size of those tasks does range from very, very small things to bigger things, but each of those actions has been specifically selected to combat the theme of each box. This is what I felt was kind of missing from my first iteration of this page. In what I think was my 6th bullet journal, I made this page here which was also self-care related, which categorized self-care ideas by type of self-care. The main problem I had with this one though was these weren't really actions, they were really just ideas. Some of them being ways to identify when I was taking care of myself in that category, some of them almost being actions or things that I could do for self-care in that area. But it wasn't very specific, it was much more generalist, and it wasn't specifically tailored for me and the things that I struggle with. That would be my biggest piece of advice for anybody who is looking to set up a page like this for themselves. Spend some time thinking about different circumstances that cause negative emotions. In particular, the ones that come up more often or in everyday life. The ones that I've put down in this spread aren't extremes. They're not the ones that happen once in a blue moon or really out of the ordinary events. Although those could be helpful to have on a spread like this, it's going to be much more valuable for me to know how to combat feelings that I get on a much more regular basis. Once you've got your general categories though, it's then time to start brainstorming what actions can you do to actually make a difference to that area. For a long time, I feel that self-care was very much viewed as having bubble baths and putting on face masks and stuff like that. And yes, those things can be self-care. But sometimes self-care is just actually getting something done off your to-do list. Or washing the dishes. Or making an appointment with your doctor that you've been putting off. A lot of the time, self-care isn't really all that glamorous. But some of those very unglamorous tasks are the things that will actually help. Make sure you put those on your list. You'll note that one of the categories I have on this page is something else. I figured it would be good to have a space for when my discontentment comes from something other than the other categories I have on this page. My main action steps for that one are to do some journaling to figure out what the root cause of my discontentment is, and then do some brainstorming about possible ways forward. I've also noted to identify boredom here, because this is something that I do find causes me a lot of discontentment, but it's not necessarily something I have a good solution for. Question of the day for you guys though, what area is your biggest self-care struggle, and what's an action that you do to combat that? I think my biggest struggle is probably when my work life stresses me out, but as you can see, I do have some ideas on this page as to how I'm going to tackle that. All in all, I think this spread is going to be really helpful for me, and I'm really pleased with how it turned out. Hopefully you guys found today's video helpful or at least interesting, and if you did, please do make sure to give it a big thumbs up. As always team, thank you for watching, and if you hadn't already, feel free to subscribe to my channel for more on planning, productivity, and personal development. Until next time, bye!